Hey guys, how's it going? Today, we're diving into what exactly G-Man is gaining by ruining the lives not just of humanity, but also of the Combine. So, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, because today we're going to break down what we think G-Man is really getting out of all the chaos he causes. What could be so valuable that it catches the interest of a being who already has everything? Yeah, my friends. There's nothing made of matter that G-Man couldn't have if he wanted. Gold, Zen crystals, weapons, even people. So why bother working for mysterious employers when he could just take whatever he wants? The average human mind probably can't wrap itself around that. Most of us spend our lives working, struggling just to survive. We end up valuing the things that give us comfort and well-being as fast as possible. Money. We're stuck in this limited mindset, so much so that we barely pay attention to the world around us. Often, we'd rather live in an illusion, chasing something that might not even be real. But the truth is, we all need something that gives our lives meaning, just like G-Man. The way this mysterious being presents himself gives us a big clue about what he really wants. A businessman, dressed in a blue suit, carrying a briefcase, and always making some irresistible offer. And what do businessmen really want? Whether they're politicians, lawyers, CEOs, just one thing: control. Once you've got that, everything else follows. The dream of every company is to have a monopoly. The dream of every politician is to stay in power without anyone to challenge them. The dream of every lawyer is to always convince others they're right. When you control a situation, that means you have power over it. And that's exactly what G-Man is after. Power. Because make no mistake, G-Man is not invincible. He has enemies. But before we go any further, let's compare G-Man's first direct contact with Gordon and with Alyx. What do they have in common? Gordon took Zen out of Nihilant's control, and Alyx freed G-Man from the Combine's prison. These events show that G-Man chooses to manipulate people with extraordinary potential, people who survive against all odds. In Alyx's case, she's forced to choose whether or not to save her father's life. In Gordon's case, he either accepts the job offer or he dies. That illusion of choice G-Man presents? It's actually a scenario he carefully set up in space-time. What did Nihilant and the Combine have in common? Maybe the fact that they knew how to stop G-Man. And if you didn't know, the Vortigaunts have an energy that can block his influence. In fact, it's the Vortigaunts who rescue Gordon Freeman from G-Man's control at the end of Half-Life 2. But G-Man is incredibly manipulative. He offers deals to everyone. And make no mistake, no matter who he's dealing with, he's always the one who wins. It's not confirmed, but it's very likely that both Nihilanth and the Shulathoi, the leaders of the Combine, also made deals with G-Man, thinking they'd benefit. But we all know how that turned out. Nihilanth was especially dangerous because he could control the Vortigaunts telepathically. Still, he was easier to deal with. He was the last of his kind, at least in Zen. His death definitely eliminated a threat to G-Man, and in turn, increased G-Man's control over space-time. The Combine, on the other hand, likely saw G-Man's betrayal coming and tried to trap him. That tells us something important. The Combine have some understanding of how G-Man manipulates space-time because they knew they needed Vortigaunt energy to stop him. Even so, they failed, and they couldn't suppress the uprising on Earth. The Vortigaunts themselves aren't really a threat to G-Man. They don't have ambitions of conquering other dimensions. But what they do have is deep knowledge and the ability to manipulate space-time, which makes them extremely dangerous if that power ends up in the wrong hands. Anyone who's played Half-Life Alyx knows just how powerful a single Vortigaunt can be. So why hasn't G-Man just killed off the Vortigaunts? And who says he hasn't tried? The Vortigaunts are incredibly gifted with time-space abilities, but they don't have advanced technology. That makes them vulnerable to attacks from more developed civilizations. And that's exactly what happened. The Combine attacked their dimension. Many Vortigaunts were killed, and some managed to flee to Zen. There, Nihilanth, possibly to take advantage of their power, enslaved them. And honestly, maybe that was also orchestrated by G-Man. Just like he manipulated humans into opening an interdimensional rift, triggering the war between Earth and Zen, he could have sparked a war between the Vortigaunts and the Combine as well. But of course, that part's speculation. What is certain is that, luckily, after all the interdimensional conflict, a few Vortigaunts survived and allied themselves with humanity to fight for freedom. But stay alert, G-Man can also manipulate the Vortigaunts in space-time, like that time when Alyx was on the verge of death because of a hunter. The Vortigaunts show up just in time to save her, saying she would be an irreplaceable loss. They risked so much saving her that they had to leave Freeman unprotected in space-time, leading to that eerie conversation with G-Man in episode 2. This all goes to show you, there's not just a war across the physical dimensions, but also one unfolding across the timeline itself. Gordon's fights on Earth, Vortigaunts fight in time, but they don't always win, like in Half-Life Alyx, where G-Man ends up capturing Alyx. So, in the end, what we're seeing is G-Man manipulating and deceiving entire species across multiple dimensions, turning them against each other, weakening them, and in the process, gaining more and more power. And with power comes control. Will there ever be a moment in space-time where we stop fighting each other and finally destroy him? And the biggest question still remains, who are G-Man's real employers? Are they always the same? Or does he get a new boss every time he completes a mission? For more deep dive videos like this one, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and remember, around here, we make good use of that crowbar. Thanks to everyone who supports the channel. Big hugs, folks! Thanks for watching, and don't forget to leave a like.